Trenton.
Okay, so how many of you have ever bought anything from IKEA or Target or Walmart, anywhere that makes mass-produced furniture that you put together, put in your dorm, anything like that? Wow. You guys are all doing this, we're doing wrong. That's where we come in.
Hi, I'm Jake.
I'm Pete.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Junior. And
We are
Mountain Drift Woodworking. So, I'm head of tracking competitors, planning for growth, and seeking investments.
I'm our financial advisor, and I'm responsible for making sure we get a profit margin, and our main goal is consistency. We want consistency over the years and successful business.
I'm our head carpenter. I'm in charge of employee management. I also oversee the manufacturing of all of our products.
Once again, I'm Junior, and I was in charge of researching the market and current trends.
Today we are here seeking $50,000 in exchange for 20% equity in our company. Oh, 10%, sorry about that. We realize that this is a pretty high valuation for a unique furniture company such as ourselves, but with this money we feel that we can invest in some manufactured raw materials as well as creating a distribution line.
Now, people nowadays need something that makes them feel like they actually are worth something. They need luxury items. It's a status symbol, makes you feel good. And what we try to do is we make unique, handcrafted furniture that you wouldn't see anywhere else. Like, if you walked into somebody's apartment or house, you saw something like this, you'd definitely start talking about that. This is something you would never see anywhere else. That's completely made out of driftwood, by the way. Something like this you never see anywhere. It's all unique. That's where we come in. And believe it or not, this all started out with a small little birdhouse back in 2009. This all actually started with me. The birdhouse I was actually commissioned to make by my mom. I believe I was maybe 13 when that happened, and thinking back on it, I actually had no idea what I was doing at that point, but that was the finished product, and I'm happy to say it came out pretty well. After that, everyone started seeing my work. My mom actually started showing everyone pictures of it around the neighborhood. And I eventually got commissioned to make a snowboard box, which is essentially something you ride on and do tricks off of. And that box actually got featured in Trans World magazine, which is a very, very popular snowboarding magazine. And I kept getting orders from there. I was getting wood animals. By 2012, I was able to really get into scroll saw and sanding. But then it got to a point where I could not handle all the orders. That's where I met these guys. They come in, they started helping me out. And I was able to really, really increase my brand by making beers like the one seen there, which is exactly like the one there, same process. And because of their helping me out with my financials and everything, I was able to start making benches like that, which I actually have been selling those to wedding venues all over the place. My most recent one was to Corona Farms, which is in upstate New York. They actually had ordered 4 of them in the past year. And the rest is history. Now, the process is the same as any process with woodworking. It all starts out with inspiration. And once you get inspired, of course you got to choose your materials. This specific piece, base is oak, shows some pine sticks to use for this one, and some birch bark to use as well. This one I already said is driftwood. This here is pine logs and also a stump from an old willow tree. Choosing your materials is imperative to what you're trying to do. If you choose the wrong materials, it's not going to look as good. It's going to look like a hodgepodge of anything. It's not going to be as fun. Once you choose your materials, the most important thing you can do is measure. If you're a woodworker, this is your best friend. If you've ever made anything, you've definitely heard the term, measure twice, cut once. That is a mantra that I always say to myself when I'm doing this, that we all say. And it really does matter. If you don't measure it right, something like this, especially, it's going to wobble, it'll fall. It's not going to look right. Once you measure everything, then you're allowed to cut the size. And only then, because you'll know in your heart, it's going to be perfect. Once you cut it, next thing you got to do is sand it down with a coarse grain to really get into a nice shape. If you think something like this just happens, you're dead wrong. This takes hours and hours of sanding to get into these shapes. Once you do that, then you're allowed to connect everything, make it look cool. After that, it's all aesthetic appeal. Then you take finer sanding paper, clean it up, make it smooth, make it look pretty. Then you can either sand it, stain it, paint it, what have you. and then you can polyurethane it if you'd like to keep it to make it stay for a lifetime.
So the operation is pretty simple. We receive orders online through our website, and then the product is made to order based on how the customer wants it done. We have basic designs, but it's always possible by request for customization. The product is then packaged, and finally it's shipped to the end consumer. We do offer free shipping.
So I looked at demographics and trends. So the population of millennials in this country is 75.4 million people. So that is 23.19% of the total population. And then the population of Generation X is 63.7 million people. And the population of baby boomers is 74.9 million people. And now when we look at U.S. furniture sales in 2015, millennials accounted for $27 billion in sales. Generation X generated $32 billion in sales, and baby boomers generated $35 billion in sales. So now this chart looks at the U.S. furniture and home furnishing e-commerce revenue, and the first thing you'll notice is that there is an upward trend. For example, in the past, sales have increased, and they are projected to increase. Looking at 2013, sales were $20.2 billion, and in 2015, sales were $26.7 billion. And in 2017, sales will be $34.3 billion in e-commerce revenue. And now this chart to the right looks at global luxury furniture market. And between now and 2020, there's a compound annual growth rate of over 4%. So this also shows an upward trend. And now millennials and Generation X consumers are spending a lot more on furniture rather than baby boomers, which makes sense because now millennials, they're starting their careers, they're moving out of mom and dad's house into small apartments. And Generation X consumers, they already developed their career, they're starting families, and now they're moving into homes. And what does every home need? Furniture. And baby boomers, now they're growing older, so now they're worried about other expenses such as healthcare. And just to show you, in 2012, sales of Generation X consumers were $22.3 billion, and in 2014, sales were $31.8 billion. So that's a 43% increase. On the other hand, baby boomers in 2012 was $41.8 billion, and in 2014, it was $34.7. So that's a 17% decrease. So now the psychographic profile of luxury consumers, there are three different types. The first ones are X-fluence, and these are the ones who spend the most because they're heavily invested in luxury living. And then luxury cocooners, they spend most of their luxury budgets on home-related purchases. And aspirers are those who haven't really achieved that level of luxury yet, but they believe that they can express, or they believe that luxury is best expressed in what they buy and what they own. So with that being said, our target market are aspirers between the ages of 35 to 44 years old. So now this looks at discretionary income. In a study conducted by the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, it shows that U.S. disposable personal income is increasing. For example, in April of this year, disposable income was $13,855. In July of this year, it was $14,049. And in September of this year, it was $14,107. So that shows an increase. And now this breaks it down into average discretionary income by age. So those who are between 35 and 44 have on average disposable income of $32,000. And those who are 25 to 34 have that disposable income average of $19,000. So that's why our target market are those between 35 to 44 because they have more disposable income. So now with our marketing strategy, we want to raise awareness and we want to inform our consumers of our products. So we believe the best way to do this is through furniture markets and trade shows, which cover a variety of categories in the home furnishing industry. So with this is a great platform where we can display our products in room-like settings, and people or consumers who attend these shows, they have the opportunity to interact with our product, and they get a visual idea of what our products would look like in their home setting. And one example is the annual furniture fair in New York City, and this is a North American platform that displays the greatest and latest pieces of furniture that's out in the market. And one big advantage of it includes the media partners who attend these events. For example, the Wall Street Journal, Metropolis, KBNB, Architectural Records. So for us, this is great because this is free publicity of what we have to offer the market. So by now, I'm sure we're all familiar with Facebook, and one quick question is, who has a Facebook account? All right, so one interesting fact is that Facebook has over 1.5 billion users. So another part of our marketing strategy is to utilize social media, and our social media platform of choice is Facebook. So with Facebook, we have already built a strong following, so we can inform our consumers of new products and other relevant information that they will find useful. And with Facebook, we can receive consumer feedback, so they can let us know what they want to see from us in the future and how we can improve our services. And thirdly, we have already built consumer trust with Facebook reviews, so this allows other potential consumers and gives them the confidence to buy from what we have to offer. And also on our website, we have a blog section as a way to attract more traffic for our website. Yes, we click on it. So yeah, this is just showing the blog on our website, different type of articles.
Everyone does what we do. Everyone walks on the beach, they see nice pieces, they think, wow, that's actually really cool. But we're the only ones that actually take that and make it into something. Everyone gets inspired by different things. That's where the blog comes in. Everyone writes about what they see, what they think. It's very profound if you really look into it. It's very transcendental.
So we are in the Shark Tank. So your question to me is, what are the sales? And I'll get to that. First, let me start off with our 10 unique products. We have a few on sample today, and all products are customized, so you can send in an order with your own customization, and the price of that product is based off of how you want it to look individually. And last year, on average, we sold about 20 products a week, which is approximately 1,040 units in total in the year. And with that, it calculated $133 in sales. And since our origination in 2010, we've generated our sales to $673,000. And right now, we currently do offer free shipping, but all of our shipping costs are within the product, and they're included. And some of our shipping services are UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. And the time of delivery depends on how large your order is. Okay, so more financial facts. We currently have 4 carpenters on staff right now, and up until 2014, they were working on a per-hour basis. And right now in 2016, we currently have 4 carpenters on salary, and that salary is from our 65% of our total revenue. And our company breakdown is as follows. 65% of our total revenue is for salaries and wages. 10% of our total revenue is raw materials and distribution, which is like our shipping through FedEx and all those services. And we currently have a 25% profit margin on a per year basis. Our equipment that we buy or refurbish every 5 years is approximately $5,000. What we use our 25% margin for is miscellaneous expenses such as raw materials, which include paint, nails, and etc. So here's a copy of our sales chart, and as you can see, we've been increasing our sales in total every single year, and the margin we've been increasing has also been increasing per year. And what we like to see through this is consistency. Every year, it's increasing. As we get more customers, they come back and buy more products from us. And as you can see, in 2017, we have a projection of $238,000, which this projection is based off of our sales through our prior years. And this is our chart from a profit and expense standpoint. As you can see, expenses are here, and our profits are here. We like to reserve 25% of our revenue for miscellaneous expenses, like I said before. And that 25% is also available to you, which we are offering. We are offering at 10%. So we essentially would be keeping 15% of our total revenue for those miscellaneous expenses. And I'm going to show you our 10 products and their prices. first we have a pine bench that's worth $500. A birch mirror that's worth $75. A pine floor lamp that's worth $80. A driftwood table that's worth $85. A pine chair that's worth $250. A birch lamp that's worth $50. A pine coffee table that's worth $250. An oak end table that's worth $75. A birch mirror that's worth $125. And wood animals that are worth $15.
We have other miscellaneous objects as well, but the wood animals are our most popular item. We've personally sold to, I believe, 24 college students already. We've been making these wood animals for everyone. They all want one. They're cute, so we're going to usually use. Everyone wants one. And I've heard if you guys want them too, just come and ask.
So our competitors consist of Target, Overstock, Oak Furniture Land, and Adirondack Furniture. Target and Overstock, as you guys know, they produce their products on a mass scale. So they put very little time and effort into them. They just make sure that they get out of the factory onto the shelf and into the consumer's hands. But in reality, they're very poor quality products. Oak Furniture Land, as their title shows, they only make their products out of oak wood. As Cam said before, we have our mirror alone has pine, oak, and birchwood in it. Nobody's doing this. Everybody, when they make their products, they make it with one, maybe two different types of wood, and it's very plain, it's very blah. And people like unique items, especially in 2016. Everybody likes to be different. Lastly, Adirondack Furniture, they produce very basic looking furniture. I mean, you don't ever see a table, like a desk or whatever, a table like that where lights are attached to it, it lights up and it's beautiful, it really is. And it's just it's all very unique. You're never going to get a product that looks the exact same as the last one. There's going to be some differences, there's going to be some way that it's yours and it's unique. So our growth so far, our company, as Cam stated, we started in 2010, and just this year alone, we've done over $176,000 in sales. We've netted over $673,000 in sales, and we're projecting to do $238,000 alone in 2017. We've profited over $168,000 while maintaining a 25% profit margin, and this is a stat that we're very proud of because we know it's hard to be a profitable organization, especially when you're one that's not that big and you're kind of new. But we realize that this is a matter of money, and our offer is a low risk, high reward investment, and we believe it'll benefit us all in the long run. So we just wanted to thank you all for coming here again at this time without me accepting any questions.
Who's in?
How do you use this $50,000?
So some of the money is going to go towards marketing, advertisements, magazine advertisements, online ads, and the distribution line that we mentioned. I have a friend whose father that I've talked to owns a packaging and shipping company called Victory Packaging, and they said that if we could sign a contract with them, so we could cut out UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service for a one-time flat fee, and they would ship our products through them for a lower cost.
For a lower cost than UPS and FedEx?
Yeah, because we're paying per item with them, so in the long run, it costs much more than to just pay one flat fee and sign up, however, 1, 2, 3 year contract where they could ship our items out.
We can ship in bulk with this new distribution line.
So your current $135,000 in sales, how much of that is being sold to Gen X aspirers? Do you know who you're selling this product to?
Well, these products here are actually all sold, and these actually have all been sold to college students, believe it or not. This one I personally made for one of my friends. I'm actually going to give that to her today. Between Gen X and millennials, it's really no different. They all want to buy these because they all want a luxury item that everyone will talk about. They see in their home or apartment. I would say though that Gen X is more prone to buying the more expensive items like a bench and chairs because a college student can't necessarily afford that. But everyone really wants this stuff. There's no real set demographic of who wants what. So everyone will pay for any item.
So you look at the total, you look at the total furniture market, okay, and those are the numbers that you put up. But this is, I would consider this a niche market, okay, and I don't see it as a broad-based market. So is there any way to identify what the market potential is in this particular sector?
Target market is, like I already said, a target market, we don't really have a set demographic here. We always have everyone wanting to buy. Like we have college students who want all this. I've had several people come up to me in the past asking for custom-made products. We've sold many more than this actually. This isn't even scratching the surface of what we have.
Don't you think that you sell to the college market because that's the people you touch? So the question really gets to be is, what's the upside potential, okay, if you could identify a market segment you wanted to market towards?
Like I said earlier in the presentation, later on we actually sold to Corona Farms, which is a wedding venue up in upstate New York. And they've actually been passing my name around as well, our brand around. And they personally bought 4 benches in there.
So how did they come to know you?
My cousin actually had a wedding there, and I had actually personally made a bench for her that he had displayed there, and the owner of that venue, she liked it so much that she actually came up to me at the wedding and asked me to make some for her. And she said that she would pass my name around to other venues. And that's where I met these guys, because they had helped me out with my distribution and financials.
So you mentioned that you had 4 employees that you pay to actually produce products.
Yes.
Are they you or are they?
No. 4 other employees inside of us.
It's 3 others.
3 other in Canvas, our 4th carpenter.
Okay, and then are you, how do you all get paid?
We all get paid from our 75% margin from our sales. So we'll go back to the chart.
Gross margin.
Yes. So as you can see, expenses, that is our salaries and wages. And our profit is, our $12,500 is the miscellaneous expense, which is like our profits almost as a company. But in all, our $37,500 in expenses are also profits because we're getting that money, but the extra 25% is available for miscellaneous expenses and also offering to an investor who wants to come in with us if you want.
You have an interesting product, but I agree with Garrett. This is really a niche. You're not selling from Target. I mean, this is really, you get specialty furniture. But how did you come up with the price points for the individual products, and what does it cost you to actually make them? I mean, you don't have to go through every single one, but just pick.
Well, for these products in particular, sorry to interrupt you. These products in particular, the price for anything actually is based off of how much time we put into it and how much it costs to make it. For these items though, that table for instance, that took maybe 2 weeks to make, and as far as the cost of goods one,
How many hours though?
that would have been approximately, I'm trying to think, 7 hours a day. That would be approximately, thank you, 98. But as far as materials for all this is actually all found in nature, just walking through the woods. Every single piece of wood you see here, we just found walking around. And that's essentially how we go about our business. We do have wood vendors we are in contact with. There's a wood vendor that we have called KG. They supply us all the larger logs that we use at a very decent price. We have a glass manufacturer where we get the tabletops and mirrors from. Other than that, the raw materials that we have usually just come from Yvonne.
So to that point, do you have any idea what your labor cost is on an hourly basis? Like in that particular unit right there,
Table.
How much do you sell that for?
That table was going for $85.
$85.
Yes.
And it took 2 weeks to make.
Yes, the glass itself cost $50, and plus the labor. It's actually fairly generous to Charlestown, I believe.
So I mean, realistically, if you were to pay, let's just say minimum wage, okay, that is it $75 an hour now? Let's say $8 for the sake of argument. And let's say you have 28, 50, 56 hours of work on that, because it was 2 weeks, right? And I kind of heard you say like 7 hours, 4 days a week. I think that's what I heard you back there say. So you got like 56 hours at $8 an hour. So that's what, $448 in labor, $50 for the top. It doesn't seem like that's a viable cost measurement. You know? I mean, the more of those you make, the more money you lose.
Well, there's a learning curve to making these. This was just the first type of this that was one that we made. Once you figure out how to make one, it gets incredibly easier. Like the bench that was up there, originally that took a month and a half to make, but after making that, making the chair only took 2 weeks because there's a learning curve.
And with 3 more carpenters on staff, we have lots of help now, and they're fully trained by Canon. So the process is getting easier.
Don't get me wrong, I like your idea. I just think that, one, identifying the market and the market potential as opposed to just the broad base of the market, okay? And understanding your costs, you know, what it actually costs you to produce is, you know, if you scale this, right now, it's easy because you're doing it out of your garage or wherever you're doing it, okay? And your costs are such that you don't have any real, I'm sure you're paying these guys cash. Okay. And so, I mean, you don't have any of the insurance costs. All the other costs that bake into if you scale this up to $1 million business or a $10 million business, okay, it changes. And what happens is now all of a sudden you have to, your gross profits are going to be consumed with labor, with a lot of different overhead, insurance, other factors that come into play. And then the question gets to be is, where do you have to move the price of that table, of the lira, of that? Where do you move it up to cover cost, and where do you move it down because of your production? You all of a sudden you scale up because you're producing a lot more. And that's a study that would make me want to know to invest. If I invested $50,000, the $50,000 is not going to get us where you want to be. And the question is you probably need $500,000 to basically truly make it a business. One man's opinion.
I think you're really talented, and I think you're pricing stuff way too cheap. And I think you got to find somebody that just falls in love with this stuff and says, hey, you know what, I've got a cabin in the Adirondacks, and I want you to make 10 of those and 5 of those, and I'm going to pay you, $250 for this and $500 for that, and get it to me in the course of, within the next year. So I mean, I think you really got to identify this isn't for everybody, and you're not going to, the millennials aren't going to, or Generation X aren't going to decorate their entire house like that. But if you've got a summer house that's on a lake or a mountain house, something like that, this would fit in real nicely. The other thing that concerns me a little bit is your raw materials, like you're walking through the woods or you're walking on the beach, like so all of a sudden you get like a big order from me and I want you to make 10 of them. Well, you can't source the raw material fast enough.
We would use the vendor with that money then. So that money would go towards, if we ever needed a mass order, we could go to one of those vendors and say, we need 20 pieces of 10 by 10.
Right, but then you're beholden to that. Then all of a sudden I got you, right? Because you really need this raw material ASAP. And if I control the raw material, then I can force you to pay more for it because suddenly demand just increased. So that concerns me a little bit that you don't really control that.
far as I said when we found this in nature, that's more or less the field we're trying to go with. We do have vendors that supply all the driftwood, all the branches, all the birch bark for us. It's just the type of field that we're going for. It's not necessarily exactly what we do, but it's the type of idea that we want to convey, type of look that we want.
I really like your idea. And I would like to help you figure out how to take this idea on a bigger scale. I'm noticing that I'm getting a lot of catalogs that are featuring one-of-a-kind products that have a special emotional connection to people. And I know personally, I would like to have one of your pieces with something from my backyard when I move. Because, I raised my children there, some memory of, my house. So I would like to make an investment, and I'm wondering, would any of the sharks like to come in on this investment with me to test this concept out?
Well, I feel better about it if you have a laser focus on exactly who it is your target market is. You had me in your presentation. I mean, I was taking notes, and it was like the aspirers. You talked about the luxury segment, and it's that 35 to 44, so that's the Gen X people. You had me here, and then at the very end, you were talking about this like animal piece that you sell to college kids, and most of this is now being sold to college kids. But you are the high altitude and island-minded driftwood working company. So, I'd feel better about investing in it if, there really is a laser focus around exactly who it is you're selling this to. There is upside potential to, take those price points up, against that market to help with, maybe some of these new product development costs that you're talking about for this table, which will come down as far as, cost of goods to make it whatever, so you can maintain your 25% profit margin. But it gets back to marketing and how you're thinking about yourself and, who that target is that you're going after.
Whether we get an offer today or not, we are going to work on our distribution line because we are expecting larger offers in the future. Because our projected sales are $230,000. That's increasing every single year. So if that answers your question, we expect sales to increase and to market a larger market because the money just doesn't come out of anywhere. It's going to expand to outer sources compared to our people we're selling to now.
You know what it is? That's great, and I like the concept. I like the concept because I like the energy. Okay. The point is you guys believe that this is a viable business, and I believe it's a viable business. But I think that when you look at $238,000 or $232,000, it's just not enough. Okay, because even if you made 100% profit, what is that? It's less than $60,000 a person. That's, you're not going to be able to live in a life that you want to live in. And that doesn't cost any material cost or the labor cost of the people you hire. So realistically, this has to get ramped up. And how does it get ramped up? It gets ramped up by not basically selling, just word of mouth. It gets ramped up by basically being able to offer it. Social media, is great. Some type of website, marketing, blast marketing, I think would be appropriate. But before you do that, it's like what we're saying here is that you need to identify who the market potential is. You're making an assumption that the 35 to 44 is the target market because it's the biggest market. That doesn't mean it's the best market. There's a lot of older people who would appreciate maybe more than that middle market that the products that you sell. And when you start, you need to know that before you waste money on marketing campaigns that go. So you have to do some test marketing to be able to get results back. And you got to move from word of mouth sales to being able to get a feel for what the market is, and then also potentially looking at maybe some distribution points that you can move product through. Okay, so that you get some mass, because you need some mass in order to be able to, develop, have enough money for the overhead, okay? Because that never changes, there's 6 costs that are not gonna change. And you need a certain amount of volume in order to overcome that, so that you can all be millionaires, and we can all be millionaires with you, okay?
So are you in?
I'm in, but I
Are you
go.
in?
Now, like you said though, we do actually have a website. That was where the blog came up, we just didn't go too deep into it.
And the question
Okay,
is,
so you have-
who touches that website?
Yeah, you have 3 sharks in.
Yeah,
I think
You
it's,
have 4?
I think it's a great concept, but I think, this is art to me, this is more art. It's not to the mass market, and I think you need to target somebody, like a high-end celebrity that says, you go on the Ellen show and she buys one of these things, or Oprah, I'm serious. And then it becomes like, people will pay $1,000 for it, or $1,500 for it, or whatever, because it's art, and that, it's hard to value art because, it's worth what the next person's willing to pay for it. And I think this is art, and that's the way you should look at it. So I'm out.
You're out.
I like to,
Right, it's out.
even products that you have underneath that brand name, it would almost be like, if you had your name on it, it almost gives it a little bit more cachet, and you develop around what things
All right, so we have to decide, are we in or out? This class is Uber.
are.
Well,
You're in.
I'm out.
I'm in.
Because I feel like you're a carpenter-driven company that needs to be more marketing-driven.
I think you have furniture with meaning. There's an emotional connection to this furniture that people will have, and they're gonna pay a lot for it. We need to get the word out. Gary and I are in. We'll renegotiate the